Like I said earlier, this is not a tourist attraction. What is it?
Yangcho. Which means banquet.
Which means banquet, yeah.
Yeah.
Which means banquet. See, we're learning. We're learning everything.
Okay,
Oh.
you can use chopsticks.
How did I know you just do that?
Gambe!
Gambe!
Who spins? Is there a dedicated spinner on the table? Wow, didn't expect this. Wow, this is well impressive. How's that for a babysitter? Ancient babysitter. Guys, we have arrived at Chang'an ancient town. So this isn't just like a normal ancient town like Xitang or Wujian. This is a little bit different. So this is not well known by Western tourists at all. And also, you look here, locals still live here. A lot of these ancient towns have turned into tourist attractions, whereas this one was never turned into a tourist attraction. This is literally ancient history preserved. It's got a fascinating history. It sits next to one of the most fiercest rivers in the whole world. They built it to withstand different tides. So this is Hong Bridge in front of me. It's actually one of the most famous bridges here. And the reason it's called Hong, because Hong means, which I've learned recently, this is how I learn my Chinese, I just pick things up. But Hong means rainbow.
Because of the smooth arch underneath. That's why it's named that.
Yeah, so it actually looks like a rainbow, apart from the colours.
But it was used so when like the fishermen or people went out working, when they come in they knew that they had arrived by seeing the bridge.
So we are currently in the city of Haining. It's not a very well-known city, but it's very famous for this, the Grand Canal. It runs from Beijing all the way to Hangzhou. So in ancient times, the easier way to transport things from Beijing all the way down to Hangzhou was they built this canal, which is absolutely huge.
Because obviously in ancient times they didn't have things like cars and trains and all that to get around. So that was the most convenient route.
How long did this take to build? How many?
Actually, it's gradually, like
Gradually.
different dynasties.
Like
built
the Great
different
Wall.
Parts. Sorry?
Like the Great Wall of China, different dynasties.
Yeah, different dynasty,
Right.
like similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why this town is very important is because it's here, so it connects all three major routes, so like Beijing, Suzhou.
But I think this is Suzhou.
This one's Suzhou.
Suzhou.
Like three main.
Yeah.
I've lost the track, but
Yeah.
and then
Suzhou, Hangzhou.
and Beijing,
Yeah, Beijing's up here.
and we're here. And then this is the small river that connects to the big major sea here in China.
Yeah. So this is the South China Sea, and this is the Xingtang River. So it connects to it.
But we're about to actually experience like what it'd be like on a boat. Obviously on the river. I can't actually see.
Here we are.
Ah, that's quite cool, isn't it?
It is cool. Oh, thank you. It's quite impressive what they've done with this ancient town. So, like I said, it's not a very well-known tourist attraction, but they've really spent a lot of money on it. And look at how impressive this screen is. A curved screen.
So originally with the river, they used to have two different levels. So one was more shallow than the other, and one was more higher. So back in ancient time, during the Song dynasty, obviously they didn't have like technology and all that back then. They used to pull it along with string. But then later on they changed it and updated it, and they used a system of, so they had three sections. Ben's here to help explain it.
Yeah, they had three sections. One section would fill up. Once the water level was level with the next one, the gate would open. The boat would move through to the next section. It would happen again, and the boat would move to the third section. It's very clever. Like you can, considering this was 1,200 years ago when they were doing this. How clever is it? Like this is why this particular ancient town, they were obsessed with water. They read the tides. They totally their life was the water, and that's why everything's designed to cope with the harsh changes in tides. And yeah, it's clever. It's clever how ancient civilizations can adapt and survive.
It's kind of reminds me of the Panama City.
Yes, but
That's
the
Panama Canal has kind of similar system.
Yes, because the
They
Panama
empty the tank, don't
the
they?
Panama Canal is a very modern version of this, but the Panama Canal obviously based their designs on ancient techniques. So you think
Probably got it from here.
yeah, the Panama Canal had this to reference back on. When this was designed, they had to think of it in their head. It wasn't. We didn't have the internet and stuff back then, did we? So yeah, they just had to think about their own way of doing it.
So this is actually quite interesting. So this is a picture of a rock, but this rock used to have rules on it.
I thought you said it was interesting.
It is interesting. So this was the rules in the ancient time, and it says on it the price. So to bring the ship through. So obviously they had to pull it. It took about 12 people. So there was a lot of workers, obviously earning money to help pull the ship through. But the workers kept changing the price, saying, "Oh, if you want to come through fast, it'll be this price," and changing it. So you can't go any faster. Obviously, there's only one speed you can pull it up.
Taxi drivers here.
Yeah, a bit like that. So the government brought this in, so it's got fixed price for each size of the boat, which is quite interesting. They come up with this like thousands of years ago and put the rules in place so people, in other words, wouldn't scam people.
You remember how to say worker in Chinese?
No.
She did say, didn't she?
Xinjiang?
I think it was Jufu. Jufu, I think.
Ben, I don't know how to speak English, let alone Chinese.
You struggle.
Bottled water.
This is where real people still live. So you will see people just going around their daily lives. Like I said earlier, this is not a tourist attraction. Real people's homes. And I will say it's an absolutely beautiful day as well, right? So we've had some really, really cold weather. At the time of recording, it's January, so it can be really cold. But look at the skies. Blue skies. It's a beautiful day.
Cat.
I was just saying, Rihanna, what a beautiful day.
You see the little cat's boat?
Oh yeah.
It's got a little boat. Oh, it's like a cafe. That looks like a restaurant. All these houses like lead into the water as well. So imagine when the tide gets higher. They must like go near to their houses. It's a bit worrying really to live here. It's quite mental that people do still. As we say, a lot of these towns turn into just like tourist attraction, but these are still people's homes in everyday life.
And also, back in the ancient times, these rivers were also used as transportation to transport goods, to transport groceries and salt and anything you need to trade come through this route. So this is not the same gate as we saw before. This is more like for the merchants and the smaller boats. As you can see, it doesn't really fit a big boat in, and it's like a dam. It's not like the elevator, it doesn't do the 3 steps. That's for the big boats. This is one of the ancient gates. They don't use it anymore, but like we said earlier, the obsession with water in this town was to control. The risk of flooding was so high in this ancient town that they needed to monitor everything. It was really, for the time, it was really like sophisticated. When you go around these ancient towns, you can never forget that you're in China, because look at this, absolutely beautiful EV car. Just love it, absolutely love it. I think since I've been traveling in China for the last 2 years, I've discovered what real beautiful EV cars look like. They're not milk floats, they're stunning, honestly. So these local shops are preparing for New Year. Ni hao. We've got all this New Year stuff ready. What's up, mate? All these local shops, obviously they're not here for tourists, because there is no tourists here. It's real, for real people.
So all these like ancient kind of buildings, like the wooden ones here, a lot of them is these signs, so it's kind of like a protection, telling people that they can't like knock it down or do anything until the government decides like how important it is and what to do with it, in other words. And they're all along here, like all of them have got them. Yeah. And they're trying to decide, I'm guessing a lot of them's empty now. People obviously moving from the village. As I say, a lot of people still live here, but it is very quiet. It probably, I can imagine 10 years time end up being a tourist attraction.
Yeah, I can as well. It's kind of like a listed building. Where they are so old, they're trying to preserve a bit of the history. So they house the local people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
they house them off away from here? Or they house them different location?
Different location, but it depends on them. They can decide, I want to live to which places.
Okay.
Yeah, they can
Yeah,
decide.
they
The
can
government will pay for them. Actually, we have like a joke. We always very admired people whose house has this because they can get a big amount of money.
Yeah. So this is a good thing. Yeah.
Of course, some people don't want to leave the hometown.
Yeah.
Especially some old people. So you can see before, actually in the whole village, sometimes you can see some old people here, but cannot see any young people, right?
Yeah, I see. So this means that the government have told you to move on, but it's not always a bad thing. They say they always pay you. They always pay you out, and give you normally more than what the property's worth. So when you see this on, sometimes it is a good thing, and people are very happy to accept. But not all these places are empty. So you do see some of these shops are still open. There's a few up there as well with the flags and stuff that are still open. I don't know how they come to the decision about who's going to have to leave and who gets to stay. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's a different insight into China that we haven't really seen so far since we've been here. About how local people that live in a village, how their lives get affected by. I suppose it's mostly down to probably tourism and money, where they think they can possibly do something different with the properties. This here is where they do suffer from a lot of floods here. In ancient times, they needed to build storm drains. So obviously in modern cities this is obviously a modern version of what they used to have, where the rain used to go down these cracks and stop the ancient town from floods. They used it in ancient times, and we use this all over the world now. So it goes to show you what ancient things we learn and we carry through to modern times. So this is cool, right? I've never seen this in any city I've ever been to in China. I've never seen this. So they've got this, and this is the decibels of how noisy it is. So when you sit down and you see this, if it goes too noisy, I did ask her, I said, what happens if it goes too noisy? I thought, is there some sort of punishment? She said, no, it's just to remind people to not be noisy. So this is a very quiet city, and it wants to remain. So shout out to the heroes of OTWD channel, the Meituan delivery guys. So the guys that deliver all the stuff to the robots and things that you see us get deliveries from, they actually have this little, well, I'll say it's a shed. It's like a rest stop they've built for them. It's got Wi-Fi, tea and coffee, lounge facilities, aircon, and protection from the weather. And they've built this especially for the Meituan drivers. So how cool is that? That's incredible. So the Meituan drivers are always looked after in China. Inside a traditional store here in the ancient village of Chang'an. So they've got all the usual Chinese biscuits. Actually, over here they're actually selling some knives here. Chop your meat up. 1863, I think she said. Yeah, so this store dates back to 1863. I mean, things are definitely a little bit different. They didn't have WeChat back in the day, but it's still running.
They even got like tubs of sweets, isn't it? You don't really see sweets very often in China, do you?
No, not really. Not like pick and mix sweets. I can imagine this is like your proper local. Do you know, like we used to have corner stores back in the UK where you used to get your pick and mix from. I can imagine if you're a local in the village, this is your go-to.
We're going in here and experiencing making some local meals. So my chefing will definitely come in handy now.
You can show yourself right up.
I know, it could be embarrassing, couldn't it? Has been a few years. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah. Volunteer around to go first.
So you just got to...
Wow.
Oh, it needs to be closer.
Good job.
Good job.
Wow. Okay.
I feel like I'm back working in the kitchen. There is actually a story behind this. The emperor was on a boat coming along the river, smelt something delicious, and kind of invited himself into someone's house, and they made up this dish because the fish they normally serve is full of bones, and they didn't want to obviously let him choke, so they took the bones out, blended the fish up like this, that's the fish, and then put the pork skin on the outside to make it nice and crunchy.
Okay, now he steams it for 10 minutes and we should have some delicious food coming.
So it's actually not going to be as crunchy as I thought it'd be.
No, it's not fried.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be fried, but it's steamed, so it's not going to be crunchy.
What's the name? What's the name?
Yanqiu.
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 Yeah.
Got it in the end.
What is it?
Yanqiu. Which means banquet.
Which means banquet, yeah.
Yeah.
Which means banquet. See, we're learning. We're learning everything.
3, 2, 1. Thank you.
He's never had such an ovation. Oh, shit.
Oh. 你的也很好。
Didn't he smell that one?
We've got a fish ball, a bit of vinegar in there. Let's go in and try it. That's quite a weird texture. It's like rubbery.
Is it?
Yeah. It actually smells well nice. That was really good. It's like rubbery and then you've got the pork. Doesn't taste fishy. And the vinegar like balances it really nice. Look, it's like wobbly.
Can you taste the pork though?
Probably more than the fish.
Yeah.
But your big feet can barely fit on this, Ben.
Yeah, look at my feet. But that was nice. That was a nice experience. A bit of traditional cooking, traditional
I thought we'd do a
preparation.
bit more cooking though. I literally just put a ball.
You done well,
some
Ram.
pork.
You done well.
You didn't even do anything.
I didn't. I just ate it.
I did those balls. I reckon I did about 90% of them balls.
Right, so in this shop they do everything's like in the traditional way. So it's all back in the old days. They didn't have like refrigerators and stuff. So to make meat and stuff, preserve it for a longer time, they used to cure it and cover it in salt and try to make it last longer. So all this is cured meat. Pig head there. Right, we've ended up going in the kitchen. So everyone's cracking on with their work. I do love seeing inside a Chinese kitchen. It's fascinating. But this is the drying yards where they dry all the meat. Look at all the ducks hanging. So this is where they cure all the meat. They hang it up. But because this courtyard's so sheltered by the shadows and stuff, they only get like 2 hours of sun per day. It doesn't get a lot of curing, but they leave these hanging for a long, long time. Right, so Rian's going instead of me because my hands don't fit in the gloves. So I've got a lucky escape.
All right, under pressure because I'm the last one. Shiny side. A little bit more. All right, I don't want to show myself up.
Everyone's relying on you.
มันเหมือนจะง่ายนะทุกคนแต่ว่ามันยากนะ Yeah. Don't press too hard.
Don't press too hard. Gentle. Oh,
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Nice.
Oh, well done.
Didn't do bad. I could have done it a little bit tighter, I think.
Yeah.
A little bit tighter, but
But practice makes perfect. Well done. I've been sat here patiently waiting. I'm thinking, when are we going to actually eat these? Because I'm getting quite hungry. And they just brought these out. So they fried them, obviously. And so let's give one a go. They did say that it's a little bit hot at the moment, but I don't care.
Okay,
Oh.
you can use chopsticks.
how did I know you'd just do that?
All with your hands. Yeah, it's delicious. So the green, you can taste that probably more than the pork.
Bamboo.
The bamboo, yeah, and the bamboo. You can taste more than the pork. I personally feel like it needs a little bit more pork, and also I would add a little bit of spice. I would say way lower, but yeah, it's delicious.
Right, I've just tried one and mine's full of meat and it's literally dripping with juice. It's really tasty and crunchy. But look, I think there's loads of meat.
Yeah, but you got a meaty one. All my meat fell out.
That's your fault. That's really good.
Right, we sat down for a traditional Chinese lunch. They do this in this style where they got the spinning tables. Obviously, I know there's going to be an absolute mountain of food, but it's going to be a lot of local dishes, so we get to try a bit of the local cuisine. Always feels a bit awkward. Like I don't know the spinning etiquette. So let me know in the comments. So obviously, if you want something, when do you spin?
You just make sure someone's not using it.
Who spins? Is there a dedicated spinner on the table?
Gambay!
Right guys, we have just had the best banquet. Honestly, the food just keeps coming out. It was unreal. But we've just arrived at Yanguan ancient town. This is a little bit different to the last one we visited. Do you know what I was talking about them converting it into touristy sort of areas? They basically, this one it's got a ticketing system. It's amazing. It's over 2,000 years old, but obviously been rebuilt purely as a tourist attraction. It opened in the year 2000. They converted it. The government said we're going to convert this into a tourism attraction. So no one lives inside. It's fully ticketed, and yeah, it's catered to tourists. These aunts, they're traveling around China. They're semi-retired, and we've let them borrow the signs, which we just took a photo with, and they're really chuffed about it. So, wow, didn't expect this. Wow, this is well impressive. When you see it from this angle, it is really, really impressive, to be honest.
You feel like you're standing there and then you're about to get wet, like literally it's coming down, but then it's stopping and going in the rock.
Look at the size of it. She said it was like Disneyland.
Step into the map. Sorry, being silly.
This guy was here recently, so he's like the fitness influencer of China at the moment. He's in the UK we have Joe Wicks. Here in China they have this guy. So he's very popular on Douyin at the moment. See the sheer size of this place. It is literally like Disneyland. 60 yuan to get in. I don't think that's too bad. In ancient times, there was actually people lived there. This was actually a real ancient town, but now obviously they converted it into a tourist location. It was very beautiful. When this was an ancient city, this was the entrance to the city. So these ancient cities, they have walls. They're walled cities because obviously when they're trying to protect themselves from different what would you call it? Different tribes like the Mongols or whoever, or different tribes in one, which they rebuilt in the 2000s when it opened as a tourist attraction. Don't know what the aunties are up to. Practicing a little dance.
They're practicing for their doing account. They're going to do a dance, yeah.
That makes sense.
What did you say?
I said they're practicing a little dance, which they are.
Oh, okay.
Practicing for their Douyin account.
I love that. The older generation, the aunties, are doing a dance.
In ancient time, like parents need to go out for walk. And
They put the kids?
Put the kids
Put the kids in?
Yeah, safe.
How's that for a babysitter? Ancient babysitter. Crazy time. But yeah, would you trust it? Don't care, just get rid of them, innit? Get rid of them, straight to the pub.
They're hoping that they're not there when they get back.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
Joking.
Definitely got a more touristy vibe. It's definitely busier. Obviously, everything's open, selling loads of stuff, loads of like old artifacts and stuff showing it off.
This is why the government does end up doing them to these ancient towns, because as you saw in the other one, it's dead and there's no money coming in. So they do turn it into this to bring...
Give it another lease of life.
Yeah, that's the problem. These old towns, people don't end up visiting them, do they?
Yeah. And that's something I will say. Why do you think China, over the last 10 years or so, have basically abolished poverty. They've moved beyond that now, and it's for these reasons, because these ancient towns could never survive without tourism. Right guys, we have come to the Sea God Temple. So this was built only 300 years ago. I thought it was probably older, but no, it was built around 1,300, 1,700, well, 300 years ago anyway. And it was built in this position because this is positioned right opposite the river that goes to the East China Sea. So it was, that particular sea is renowned for its tidal waves. It is the second worst tidal waves in the world. So in this region they used to get a lot of flooding and a lot of damage, and a lot of people's homes were destroyed. So they built this to protect the community. These here in front of me, this is one of the most impressive things I've seen. So these lions, this is female, this is male. They're built by pure white marble. There's only 2 sets of these in the whole country. The other set is in the Beijing Palace. So this is a very, very unique and important temple. But let's go and check out inside. Ni hao. Get on camera then. So when I step through the door, I turn right, and the stairs are right in front of you, and to the right is just a massive drop. The guy was like shouting at me. He was like, yeah, because I would have stopped, but he was just pre-warning me. So, yeah. Oh, I found Rianne as well. She went on ahead, went into the palace. Look at this though. So here on the palace, these columns, they're also made from white marble. So white marble in ancient times was very, very, very precious. So only the top most important buildings would have them. It's mad to think, right, these weigh roughly 3.5 tons, and they had to transport them all the way from Beijing, so you can only imagine what that took. Obviously a lot of slaves maybe. Are these like offerings?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can see one is apple, orange, and peach. It is very classical. Apple, in Chinese we say 苹果.
苹果.
It's similar pronunciation with safety, 平安.
平安, okay.
Yeah. And orange, in Chinese we say 橘子. And in Chinese, good fortune, we say 大吉大利. Sounds similar.
Okay.
So in China we have a lot of like similar pronunciations. We think those fruit has a good meaning.
I was just saying to her, it's quite dusty, and she said because of this being all original, the original building and all that, obviously they don't want to damage it by dusting it and risk it. That's why it's quite dirty.
Yeah.
This is the original, and then the one we first stepped into is the old one, new one that's been
remade.
Made, yeah.
Yeah.
This used to be a lot bigger. It's a lot smaller now, Tim.
Right, in front of us is Confucius. We've seen him before, all over China. He's very, very, very famous. He's responsible for education. So he was the first person that said to get children, no matter if they're rich or poor, to study and get educated. So he said his philosophy was that no matter who the child is, it depends what their strengths are, and adapt to that and let them learn in their own way, which is probably what us in the West we actually need, because our education system's just straight down the line. But he had a different way of thinking, use people's strengths rather than just go with what the system tells you.
We thought the city was beautiful during the day, but at night it literally lights up. And I can't believe how actually quiet it is here. There's like so many stores open. You can have them photo booths on like an old newspaper. You've got loads of little shops with sweets. Just all the streets are lit up with lanterns. There's like street food being cooked. It's so beautiful. It's really peaceful, and it's just really nice atmosphere.
I've had the most amazing day. It's been brilliant. This city, Haining, as well as being very, very unknown, the ancient towns are not very well explored. It has so much to offer, and I'm so glad that we came here, but there is more to come. This is the home of leather, and we're going to a real leather factory, are used by some brands that you may know, so make sure you watch it, because it's going to be a real insight into the world of fashion that you don't really know about. So subscribe.
Together. Okay. 1,
Yeah,
2, 3. Yay!
We got a fish ball.
right, we're going for some lunch now. We're going to try some more local food.
We're not going for lunch.
Aren't we?
All right, definitely on, yeah?
Yeah.